Hello, I'm Mark.
And I'm Casey.
And I'm Patrick.
And today we're going to talk a little bit about legacy media starting to catch up with what's going on at Tesla. But first, Casey, you're going to roll that title.
Yeah, legacy media. Missed the legacy cars doing this 7 years ago.
You're watching the Tesla Life Express.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today on the Tesla Life Express. We got an interesting topic. If you're watching this, you know the score of what's been going on lately. You know about Tesla starting to roll vehicles off the production line at multiple plants under autopilot or FSD as they make their way to the final lot for delivery, or they make their way to the proving ground for testing as the vehicles roll off the line. Well, it turns out that Fox News did a story recently with Laura Trump reporting about Tesla's Gigafactory Texas and how the vehicles there, specifically Model Y and Cybertruck, are now rolling off lines without human entering into the vehicle to drive them to their final destination for the export lot or for the final check for those vehicles. Laura went on site and was visiting Gigafactory Texas. Casey's going to roll the video as we talk a little bit about this. And she experienced the factory and FSD, which of course we know what's been happening, but there's been really a real lack of understanding from the public that this is actually happening. We hear from people that FSD is a far way away, but yet here it is actually happening in real life today in a limited role as these vehicles leave the production line and head out onto, I guess that you'd call them private roads on the factory site, and allowing them to go to their final destination without a human driving it. So kudos that they're starting to understand this, but I wonder why it took this long for somebody to notice that these cars were not being piloted by humans and understand the implications that this is what's going to be actually hitting the road shortly in a cybercab type form or in a robo-taxi type form, that the public is going to be seeing this everywhere in just a matter of months. Why do you think Legacy has not even reported on this yet?
They have sponsors, and their sponsors didn't want them to care. And now the front man of this company has become a person of note in their eyes. And so now they're paying attention, I guess.
So you think that this is almost like Elon obviously became a friend of the current administration. Laura Trump is obviously connected to the administration in a way, in a big way, by name. And
she's had an outsized role in their stuff.
So is this kind of publicity that is being shared, kind of like when the used car lot hit the White House lawn? Could be, I guess it could be construed as that as well, because this isn't just a Fox local news channel in Austin. This is a nationally done show on Fox. So obviously it's being shared with a rather large audience in this case. But again, will this spur any more talk about this? Will this spur any more discussion that these things are happening today, and these things are going to start showing up on public roads any day now?
Yeah, one thing we've seen ever since Tesla's inception, that they've been ignored, passed over in a lot of ways by the press, and they don't pay for advertising, so there's no incentive for magazines or other things to cover them positively. And in fact, they're sort of at a disadvantage because the other cars are paying for those advertisements. So The cool thing is that opened up a window for enthusiast media like our channel here and several others that cover Tesla and do get that message out. And it means that Tesla doesn't have to pay for advertising. So it is cool to see that they are on this technology leading edge, and it is getting attention. We talked about it a couple weeks ago on the show, how one of them that was leaving, a forklift drove in front of it, and you saw that FSD stopped, allowed the forklift to pass, and then continued on its way toward the delivery lot. So that's pretty cool that they're not just like pre-programmed to follow some specific route and not. They have intelligence, and they
Right.
can adapt to the environment. There can be changes, and it'll still figure out if a reasonable driver would have done something, it'll most likely do that same thing. And that's what you have to be able to go out on public roads, because you can't. It's not like boring tunnels where they control everything. There is a dynamic environment. Things are going to be different on different days. Pallets will be here and there, and there'll be different lighting conditions and other things. So it's really, really cool to see this.
Or even the robot that would be prior to this stage that Cybertruck would have been riding on before it lands on the ground for the first time. That robot just follows a painted line, either visible or magnetic in nature on the ground. These have to be intelligent.
Yeah,
right.
Maybe I'm naive about the media, that because if you're not paying for anything, you don't get covered at all. Even if it's a great story, even if it's something new, even if it's something inventive that is coming, I guess that's the way it is. You have to pay to play, and Tesla doesn't pay. They don't do advertising, and this is maybe a product of it that we don't see, like a local station, for example, in Austin. I'm not saying Fox, I'm saying anybody. No local stations have said, we'd like to do a story about these fully operational vehicles. Can we send a crew out to for you to explain how this is happening and what kind of technology this is like? Like, I'm thinking that would be a great story just for viewers to understand some new tech that's going on right in their backyard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, they sometimes do like little puff pieces, like here's the guy whose carburetor could get you going or whatever. And but that's a lot easier to do a quick 30 seconds. You don't have to explain it. Oh, there's a Cybertruck launching. No, there's somebody in it. Never mind. So I think that's what it is. Versus this one here, not only does it take more than 30 seconds to explain it, you also then have to not upset your actual advertisers, and then the biggest contingent of this competition
is a competition that sell cars, right? So
yeah. And they're dealers. They're dealers as well.
Yeah, right. True. But this is interesting that we're starting to, well, again, any coverage is going to help spread some of this word out there. Any coverage at all, and it's good to see that somebody is starting to pay attention. But it'll be interesting to see when we get to the launch of those robo-taxis, which we believe will be sometime in June of this year, 4, 5, maybe 6 weeks away. What kind of, is there going to be any type of fanfare for this? Is anyone going to be picking up on that story, that we now have driverless vehicles roaming around Austin? Like, you would think that every television station in Austin at least would be picking up on that story.
Right, but how many are going to do a negative spin on it and say, "Oh, this is far behind Waymo," and Tesla's
or
a decade behind Waymo, or exactly, yeah. So
that's going to be part of it for sure. Is the one first they have to not just assume it's the same thing as Waymo, because then they say, "Oh, we did a story about this 3 years ago. Let's talk about something else instead." Not realizing it's a completely different thing, and that it's. It's the tip of the spear, if you will, and it'll be interesting to see how they react. Especially, maybe they have their first one on accident, like they go for a ride, and then I don't know how it would be an accident, but wow, this is not what I thought, and then they're like, we have to do a story on this because nobody else has. I think we'll see some of those.
You mentioned the word accident, which makes me think, okay, it's inevitable that at some point there will be a crash involving
So that one I would use the word crash.
and that how that's covered will really be telling, especially if say the Tesla is completely not at fault. Someone did something illegal and smashed into it, and it was unavoidable by that car. This is like, I wonder how that will be compared to 2012, 2013 battery fires. There were a few, and it was something like 1/10 the number of gas fires, but Man Bites Dog is a story that's more interesting, and so those had a lot of press, and so even if the robo-taxis are as safe, or 2 or 3 or 10 times safer than humans, there is still going to be a crash at some point, and hopefully it's not June, this year. Hopefully they get some, but anything's possible. It's just a probability game.
I agree with you, Patrick. I think there will be some sort of an incident, a crash or an accident will happen. It's inevitable. In fact, the more that you put on the road, it just makes it more and more likely because the volume is just increasing. And of course, roll that into, this is their first forte at it in a live setting, outside, in real life. There's going to be some issues. There has to be. And if mankind if we all sat back and were safe, we'd be still living in caves. We would have never made the leaps into technology that we've had that have been so successful because we've built it on the shoulders of others who have had issues or have had successes, and we just keep building and going forward as time goes along. And you're going to have setbacks. There's 2 steps forward, there's half a step back. That just happens, and I expect this with FSD in the streets as well.
Right. I just hope that nobody dies. The Elaine Hertzberg incident with Uber's self-driving is tragic, and I don't want to see any repeat of anything like that from any of these autonomous car developers. So you do want to move forward, but you also don't want to cause horrible disasters and death. And I still never did find out what happened to the person that ended up under the Cruise vehicle. I heard she was injured severely, but I don't know if it was like debilitating or if there's lifelong problems with that. Anyway, I certainly hope that when there is a crash, it's just a fender bender, no big deal. That which is how it's turned out for Waymo. Those have been low speed impacts and mostly not Waymo's fault as far as I know. So hopefully that's all that Tesla has as well.
Yeah, I was going to point that out that when we look at we had dueling safety reports. We had dueling safety reports hit this weekend, and we saw the Tesla report with and without FSD, and then we saw the Waymo report with and without airbags, and we saw that like almost all of them they were the victim in the crash and not the errant party
fault. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think that will continue to hold even for Tesla.
Fingers crossed.
Very good. Very good. Well, out there, what do you think? Have you seen any reports on FSD in local media? Do you think that that's going to start to happen as these robocabs start to get out into public? Or do you not think? Put it in the comments. Let us know what you think. I'd be interested to hear your opinions. And congratulations to Casey, who's doing some father work right in front of our own eyes. Formatting thoughts, feeding the baby, doing it all. Way to go, Casey.
Bravo.
Thank you.
On to shout outs. Patrick, what do you got for us?
As always, I'm with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find us at oeva.org, and I blog occasionally at carswithcords.net about my future free from fossil fuels.
Got it. Very good. Casey, what do you got?
I've got Mako. Catch us on tomorrow. Catch us not tomorrow on the next event on Sunday. Catch us on youtube.com/ Casey Green there, or x.com/gcustom, or Let's Chat with Casey and Friends, and then come back on Monday for the other Express show and catch you live on Wednesday.
Very good. Very good. We thank Lee Moon for the music we use, and we'll get together next time and discuss what's happening in the Tesla life.
Bye now.